Welcome to welcome to this week's episode of Dropping the Hammer. I am your unlucky host, Warhammer. I don't know if you call this luck or unlucky, whatever you want to say, because looking back, I either was this close to going into a creek or I found another ravine, but I was unsuccessful driving home from Silsbee/Conroe, Texas. I hit a patch of ice and slid off, went into a tree line, and was kind of hanging sideways in the air. The van was leaning like this. There was a tree, there was a drop off, and there was a drop off over here. That's all I could really see. I don't know what how I hurt my finger, but it's swollen and bruised. Can't bend it. I'm not gonna put my feet on camera. That's another website you have to subscribe to. So not really. My ankle, I don't know if it was from doing my ninja brace. I wasn't on the gas pedal, but that pocket right below it is the only thing I can think of to brace myself, because it was we were going down. It was either that or as soon as I stepped onto the ice and slipped trying to get out of my vehicle. The only things I was able to recover from my vehicle upon the crash was my coat and my phone. Everything flew on top of my phone, so I had to search for my phone to even call for help. But I put on my coat. I couldn't find my other hoodie. I did prepare for cold, but Iron Belly. No. No. I wasn't able to get my hoodie out of the back. I wasn't able to get anything else, but necessity wise, I grabbed my coat and my phone, walked to the road and started calling for help. Looked on the Google Maps to find the closest location of anything to walk to. I found, I'll give them a shout out, even though I didn't talk to anybody over there, Sunshine Landscape and Tree. That was the closest location. It looked to be maybe a quarter to, less than a half mile. So I just started walking, limping. I had somebody stop, but they were full. They couldn't, pick me up. I told them I got people coming, so they said okay. They drove by. I kept walking. It's very cold. Started to snow. A couple picked me up. I didn't even get their names, but I'm thankful. They took me to Zippy J's, which was the gas station my buddies worked for, and that's where my roommates were headed. They knew that was the closest location, and they were on the way to pick me up, but didn't know I was walking, didn't know somebody had picked me up. But I called them and said, hey, just meet me at Zippy J's. and we coordinated at Zippy J's. So from there, the gentleman, we pray for a minute, then he helps me over to the other vehicle, and I get inside. My roommates drive me home very, very slowly because we definitely don't need another accident. And that's pretty much all I can say. I've been home since about 6:30, 7 o'clock ish, Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Man, tow truck drivers were sent out to retrieve the vehicle. I originally recruited Albert's Towing. They were unable to locate the vehicle the first day. I didn't blame them. It's white van, it's snowing, it's in a tree line. So I wasn't going to push the issue. They went out again this morning and were unable to locate the vehicle. So they searched and searched and searched, said you might want to call, the local PD. So I did call Henderson PD. Henderson PD did not pick up the vehicle. They said that area is Rusk County Sheriff's Department. We transferred you to Rusk. Transferred over to Rusk, gave them all my information, gave them, my license plate and everything. Fortunately, they said state troopers came by. This happened around 2:30, so this would have been anywhere from 2:30 on that day. But they said the state trooper, searched the vehicle, saw that there was nobody injured, nobody hurt, nobody hurt. So they called a tow truck. Was able to find out they used Wallace and Sons Towing. So from there, I called Wallace and Sons, and they informed me that they did in fact have my van in the yard. My immediate question was more for my merchandise, the wrestling merch that was just given to me. Bunch of beard oils. No one's at the yard, so they're unable to get the tote and bring it in. But try again tomorrow. I will try tomorrow if the roads allow to get to Henderson. Worst case scenario, this will be a Wednesday adventure. Also, I messaged my boss and let him know that I was not able to make it into work on Monday and would be questionable the rest of the week. He understood. I can't even go get looked at right now because it's kind of hard to leave my house. Kind of at an incline at the driveway. One of my roommates just barely made it through the yard. And that's because he couldn't make it up the incline. So I don't want to put anybody else in danger. So I can't get checked out until the roads are clear. But we're here. I do have some good news. As soon as I'm able to get through the roads unrestricted with the ice and snow, I'm able to not only, check out the situation with the van, but I'm able to I've got some good friends. They're going to help me with the down payment. I didn't even get into the match because, yes, you know, Silsby, my brothers, he hit me with a taser. uh, so yeah, I guess we'll talk about the match because we'll figure the van and vehicle situation out as soon as the roads are clear. But I want to thank my friends that are helping me. So at SWF in the Silsby, Texas, the Sons of Plunder went against four other people: the Ale House Tragedy and uh, good old Babin and Ronnie Havoc. This was a no disqualification street fight. I don't really. So this is live streamed because we didn't want to put anybody else on the road the way it already was. As it sat, I wasn't leaving that night. I left Sunday morning. So Saturday night, nobody else needed to be on the road. Let's just live stream it. This would have been an amazing event to have been at because no matter where you looked, somebody was doing something. I originally only brought hammers. I brought a giant hammer. I brought my regular hammer and a baseball bat that says hammer. I figured that would be funny. And oh man, I'm going to have to get some tissue. I figured that would be funny to only use hammers. Didn't exactly work out because I grabbed multiple weapons. Um, I the funniest one I remember grabbing, I I found a leaf blower that someone had left on the bar, and I tucked it under. So at one point, I was leaf blowing at him, and he was just flopping around because of the wind. It was so traumatic, and then I just stabbed him with uh and so okay, I get into that too. I'll get into that too. So um Iron Belly and I came out with armor. I came out with leather pauldron and a kidney belt and a kilt. Iron Belly came out with nearly full chainmail, a chainmail shirt and a chainmail hood. So we came ready for battle. Everybody else was not prepared. At one point, Iron Belly brings out a giant wheel and starts smacking people with the tire. So just bashing people with the tire. And someone gets over on him and he falls down on the tire. Somebody pulls out a car battery and jumper cables and sparks it and shocks Iron Belly. As I told you, Babin hit me with a taser. Just, I don't know if it was, I know he didn't get me with both prongs. It would have hurt worse, but he got me with one. It zapped. So now they're saying, that Vikings can be taken out by electricity. I said this on your post, Babin, but Fago sucks. I couldn't even drink it. I spit it out. That's why I spit it on you. I couldn't even drink it. At one point, his his thing is he likes Fago So I grab it and I punch him with the bottle, and then I try to drink some and it spit it right in his face. This was a fun fight because we just beat each other with stuff. Uh, no, no, I did not like Orange Fago. Fanta is better. Crush is better. What now? What you got? uh, oh, but it's a great that was a great night. I had a great night. I stayed at my buddy Coach's, Jamarcus Quirks, Coach the Ironclad, whatever you want to call him. He lent me a room. I'm grateful. Everybody along the way has been so kind to me this weekend, and I don't know how much the tow bill, the fishing bill is going to be, but it's something I got to take care of. And like I said, I've got some friends. They're going to help me with a down payment on another vehicle. So I'll be right back where I need to be. It's just sometimes you got to go through things. I certainly wasn't expecting this, but statistically, most of your accidents happen within 30 minutes of your home. I was 25. In my head, I knew I need to slow down, need to slow down, need to slow down. At that point, I could not slow down. My van's got a fat ass. I fishtailed twice, kept it on the road, and then it pointed downhill. Had it pointed any sooner, I might have tumbled down the hill because there was a turn right before I started sliding, and the ravine could have been worse. So I'm calling this whole weekend a win. It's not a clean finish, but I walked out. I walked out of that wreck. That's enough. So I'll get checked out, win it if I can, but I can't do anything till the road's clear. So thank all you Durangier and Shield maidens for tuning in to a very depressing episode, but next week I'll be able to have more information, and we'll do a watch party for the SWF Winters Hunt. I also want to leave this with the news I wanted to talk about. The Sons of Plunder has a new beard oil scent. If my oil survived, I'll have 3 different scents. We have 3 different scents: Raiders Camp, Mead Hall, and Winter Hunt, just like the show. And what we discussed was that will be our seasonal one. So that will be our Christmas winter line, cold weather line. We will be doing our 4th scent for the warmer weathers. And we figure that's when Vikings would have rated the most, when the weather was better. And that will be called Longship. I'm in connection with the guy to make labels. Those will be getting done. The next item we will be working on, though, is a beard wash in the 3 scents we already have: Raiders Camp, Mead Hall, Winter Hunt. So I don't know the pricing yet, but those will be the things we are working on. Everybody that has loved the beard oil so far, I appreciate it. Thank you for buying it. This has been something that we didn't think, we didn't think about until it happened, and this has been our go-to, and it's fun. I'm gonna design a website or something, have one designed. I'm not really sure, but that's all in the works. 2026. I my last podcast was, I made a post either on something on some social media that I was starting 2026 strapped to a rocket, and that's kind of prophetic that that's indeed what's happening. Lots of changes, and it's happening all very quickly. So, Babin, yes, I walked maybe a half mile, less than a mile in the cold limping, but I yes, um, yeah, coach, thank you. Yeah, you kept me warm. um, yes, yes, I've been thanking everybody. um, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want everybody to tune in next week. I'll be in a better mood. I'll physically be better. I'll be able to, you know, show that I didn't want to, I want to say show off, but that's the wrong word. I want to show that I'm able to bounce back, and certain things, with a little help from my friends, I can bring down mountains, and we can do this together. And this just proves it, because I never would have thought this is how I got out of this situation. So thank you. Thank everybody. Good night.